hero.
Have you any hobbies?
My hobbies are fast cars and fast women.
Hobbies are healthy. They teach you things.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Welcome back, everybody. It's Monday night. You know what that means. It's time for Around the UFL. And boy, oh boy, do we got a big one for you. A wig one for you, too. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows who needs a wig? I saw that John Cena got hair plugs. Maybe he needs one. Anyway, we're not here to talk about wrestling. We're here to talk about good old American football, spring football, that is, around the UFL. And we do have a big show this week. We don't have one guest. We got two guests. Although I don't even, is Jace even a guest at this point? I'm pretty sure he's just a panelist. And I got some stuff to talk about. I know he had the toughest battle of his lifetime this weekend. He came out on top. We're going to talk about that. But we also have Ryan Nelson from the Panthers. Zach, unfortunately, couldn't make it. Well, maybe we'll get him at the end. I don't know. But we got Jake here to talk some Panthers with him as well. But let's go around the panel. We got some big guests. Well, big panelists this week. Same panelists this week. Whatever. Get over it. James Larson, you made it. Did you hit a deer? Is that what happened?
I did not hit a deer, no.
Oh, okay. That's what I saw in the Discord, and I was like, I don't think that's true. But I figured instead
That's the
of
only
asking,
research we did?
I put that in the chat.
well, I figured I'd just wait to ask here.
Well, it was after you called me, James. I was like, you guys aren't going to believe this. James just hit a deer after all that.
Ducky, you suck. No, I did not hit a deer. Although, well, definitely not worse than hitting a deer, but more so a little bit annoying because it was kind of my own fault as to why my car basically stalled out. I have little oil leaks, and I top off my oil on big trips because, kind of have to do that. And I guess the oil cap, I just didn't put it on properly one of the times I topped it off, so it was gone. And the next thing I know, yeah, it was bad. It was bad. 3 hours gone to waste, but I still made it to DC and back, so we're chilling.
Well, speaking of that, I didn't know this either, but you're in Michigan now.
I am.
Right? This morning, you were in Baltimore with our man, Nick Thorne. Here, let me
I was.
I'm gonna move you guys out of the way here. I've rechanged the order here. So how did your date go? I saw some pictures online.
It was great. I mean, you might have
cute.
to pull up. You might have to try to pull up that picture. Let me see if I can get it for you.
Please don't.
I think.
No, we have to.
Oh, the double Under Armour logo.
Yeah. Here, let me just throw it in the chat, really fast. There you go.
Okay, let me see how easily I could share this. Look at you. You.
Him and I were both a little bit nervous on our first date,
What you don't know is James is holding a gun behind the camera and threatening.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we did at this place have two random people who did not know each other almost get into a fight behind us. So it was a very interesting morning.
It was really, it was quite the experience. But no, got some good bagels, had some good talks. And, Thorne made me wake up earlier than I wanted to, but it was worth it. Got to hang out, and now I'm back in Michigan. So a whole however many hours later. But
Hell yeah. So,
guys, I'm going to be, just a warning, I'm going to be kind of unhinged tonight. I'm running on, between the last 2 nights, 7.5 hours of sleep combined, it has not been great. So,
this is the James Larson we've been waiting for. Everybody's talking about Dark Ref. We want Dark Larson. And
that's kind of funny.
Yeah, the dark bags under my eyes, I think, says it all.
In Michigan, Jake and I met somebody. He's on Twitter, Meerkat VC, something like that. Funny name, but he's like, I don't know how James does that. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know what he's on, but he's on something.
Meanwhile, James
because
is
of how
like
much you do.
Football.
the best one of all of us. He doesn't even drink coffee. But
I did. Saturday morning I did get an energy drink.
ooh, look at you.
First
Living
time
on
I've
the
had
edge.
one in about 3 years.
Sign
What
this
kind?
guy up.
Uptime, because it's at least not a terrible.
Yeah,
Like
so
you
it's
know,
either that or
the
Celsius.
ingredients are at least somewhat not awful poison. So
Mr. Thorne, how are you feeling? Tough weekend. How are you feeling after that weekend?
I mean, obviously you'd want to win, but I'm not that. I don't feel that much differently about DC, honestly. I think it's much more of a, and we'll get into this, but I'm kind of bullish on San Antonio going forward with the coaching change and everything that's going on with them. But yeah, as far as that, I mean, when you get 13 penalties, you probably shouldn't win. And the fact that we were, still one play away, fourth and goal, final play of the game, had a chance to win and couldn't get it done. I don't feel like DC's suddenly a terrible team. I think San Antonio was wasn't exactly an 0-3 team despite the record.
hey, who's impersonating me in the YouTube comments?
I don't know.
Right
I
now?
just saw that. I spelled your last name wrong, so that was kind of funny.
I thought it was you.
No.
Because it just says James on my screen. So, anyway,
Who is this?
that's funny. I like that. Ducky, how you doing today?
Good. I had a good weekend in Detroit. I mean, my team didn't win, but I showed up to support them. Did a good job. I got to meet Michigan Panther Pride, and both of them, Jesse and Lauren, both are good guys. I got to meet Meerkat, the guy who just renamed himself. It was HVAC Dad, and now he's
Mike. There's Motown Prowler, some of the Motor City Prowler.
yeah.
He's got a but Prowler.
Yeah, Panther Pride gave me a sticker. If it
Oh,
looks,
hell
I don't
yeah.
know. It's a nice
we go.
sticker too.
Hell yeah.
Finally got my 2025 edition of the Ducky card.
Yeah.
I still need mine. I got gypped week 1. I should have got it
Dude.
before anybody else.
That's
Me too.
Milligan's fault. I got a whole bunch of them. I'll be back in
Glad you
DC for sure. For sure, DC.
It's Mr. Jake. How you doing this weekend? And I got something to say about Panthers fans, but I'll let you go and say your piece first.
So I feel pretty good. Apparently, I'm making a lot of Stallions fans happy with my voting on the power rankings. Unlike James and Thorne and company.
Well, it's funny that you say that. So let's just pull up the power rankings here because I don't understand Panthers fans. I don't understand it because I hear you guys every week. You talk, Mike Nolan, you got to do this. You got to do that. This team, blah, 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 playing down to their opponents. You won this weekend. And this, by the way, while I'm talking trash, props, Jake, because I do like this new edition. If anybody wants to see this, you can now also see how everybody voted. But let's just check in on our Panthers fans here. Let's look at Zach. Panthers at number 3. What? Okay, we'll get there. Zach is not here to defend himself, but I'll talk about this on the show this weekend. Let's look at you, Jake. Where the hell are you? Jake.
I'm right below you.
And you got him at number 4.
Yeah.
The Defenders didn't even win this weekend. What?
No, but they did what the Panthers haven't been able to do, and that's beat Birmingham. Granted, it was week 1, but, I mean, it's not like Michigan came out and did that well against Birmingham. But no, like I refuse to give St. Louis any credit for beating up on San Antonio and Houston to start the season. So I'm not going to sit here and, give Michigan props for doing the same thing against Memphis. Like, if, good teams beat bad teams and they beat them, handily. But, like, the only team that Michigan had facing with a win, actually, to date, it'll be this Saturday against St. Louis will be the first week that the Panthers have played anybody with a win going into that week. Everybody else had 0 wins. Obviously, week 1, no one was going to have a win. But still, from that, Birmingham didn't have a win. Memphis didn't have a win. San Antonio didn't have a win. So they get their chance to redeem themselves, prove themselves on Saturday, and, give me a chance to continue to taunt Battlehawks fans for yet another year as they continue to fail to live up to their preseason hype year after year after year.
And even when you look at this weekend, that's with an asterisk because that's a Battlehawks team with wins that lost their starting quarterback in Manny Wilkins.
Well, it's not like Michigan's not without injuries too. We don't have Speaks, the reigning defensive player of the year, and we got a couple other injuries, a couple really good significant injuries. So neither team is playing at full strength. So you can't give St. Louis too much leeway.
Yeah. Now, I'll stop after this,
and I'll never give them any leeway. Anyway,
so go on.
I keep laughing at Luke's GIF in the comments. Scroll down like a little bit.
Oh, I didn't know what you were talking about at first.
Oh, that's because I said GIF and not GIF, like our freaking lunatic.
Exactly. Yes. No. Not at all. I was looking like a dummy. I'm looking in the YouTube chat, and I'm like, can you put GIFs in YouTube chat?
Oh.
Anyway, I'll say this. I'm shocked Arlington's number 1. I put him at number 2. The other point I'll make about the Panthers is, as a Panthers fan, you should be happy that they didn't play down to their opponent. They went out, they won the game, they did it handily, they did the things that they needed to do. Whereas Arlington won the game, but Arlington may have gotten lucky with a little bit of injury, right? So they got to go against a team where the first quarterback's coming out really for the first time this season. Not a lot of reps under his belt. This really wasn't the week to be the quarterback. So next week's power rankings might be completely different. We'll see. Mr. Larson, you were traveling. What are your thoughts here?
I'm not super keen on Arlington being 1 just because, look, if we're talking about dropping St. Louis and how St. Louis struggled to beat Houston and they beat Houston and San Antonio, which are 2 teams that have been struggling, and they've been struggling since against the Renegades and, of course, DC. I don't know. I don't really see Arlington. I mean, they barely got by against St. Louis. Sure, they won by 2 scores, but it took a pick 6 on the last play by Eugenie Harris on Max Duggan, who obviously doesn't necessarily look like he's going to be the guy for St. Louis moving forward. I don't know what to make of the Battlehawks. I think it's a shame because they had a ton of momentum to start the season. I am also upset that Manny got hurt when he did because he did not have a good game against DC, but I felt like he was going to bounce back at least because last year, he had a bad game against Arlington, and then that was it. He never got to see the field again. So he didn't really get to see how he would respond to adversity. This season, he had a bad game against DC. He was excited to get back out there, try to prove himself, and he got hurt on the first drive. So wishing him well. I hope he heals up as soon as possible, but it certainly looks like his season is done after that injury. Look, these top 4 teams are nearly impossible to rank because there's arguments for all 4 of them at 1. All 4 of these, last year it felt like Birmingham was clearly number 1 because we knew that they could beat any one of the 2, 3, or 4, which was St. Louis, Michigan, and San Antonio at the time. This year, like, Birmingham could beat Michigan on any day. DC can beat Birmingham on any day. Arlington can beat Michigan on any day. Like, you can go around and around in circles. Like, anybody could beat anybody. It's crazy.
Yeah. Nick, go.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I think really when you're choosing your top 4, are we gonna transition here to Ryan?
Yeah, you know what?
He's early.
Yeah, no,
Ryan's
I like
probably
it.
in here. Why isn't Michigan number 1?
I put him on.
I put Michigan at number 1, by the way. Maybe that is because I am the Michigan Panthers number 1 fan. I'll have to get the thing. Back
He's
in
not.
my
He's
head
lying. He's a Roughnecks fan. He's.
Well, hey, you know
The
that
Panther is the Panthers' number 1 fan, and we haven't seen the Panther in a minute.
Well, maybe he'll come around. But so I was just talking about this, Ryan. Well, first, welcome to the show. Big show, big week, big win over the weekend. You got to be feeling good after that big win.
Yeah, first things first, I appreciate you guys having me here. Second thing second, Ducky, man, that was crazy. I'm just saying, seeing you have them Memphis winning that one was an interesting take, you know.
Those are my
but
guys.
Yeah, it was a great win for us, you know. We all felt great about it, you know.
Those are my guys. I'll never not pick Memphis. They hold a very special place in my heart.
It's worked out well.
You know.
Ryan, look, I mean, we were just talking about power rankings. Well, look, Jake is one of your biggest supporters, and he's got you at, what, number 3 or number 4? I mean, what the heck is up with that?
I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Everyone has their own thoughts on how things should look or they think things look. We got a few weeks coming up to prove ourselves, you know, and hopefully, you know, get the respect we deserve.
I guess that kind of leads into my next question. We were just discussing it, you know, that there's so much parity in the league this year where some of these top teams like yourself, DC, Arlington, Birmingham, feels like anybody can win really on any given Sunday out of the group that's kind of at the top of the league. What are your thoughts just like on the talent levels this year and just how close these teams are when it comes to the competition?
I mean, I think the league is getting better. I mean, significantly better. You look back to 2023 was my first year, and you were looking at teams who are like, dude, this team's kind of struggling. Now you have everyone where it's like, hey, these are games every week. This isn't all right, it's going to be a game I want to skip. This is hey, this can happen. They can win. Anybody can win. And the league's growing because of it. I would love to see the fans keep coming out and supporting more. That way you can, because we feel it when we play. When we look up and we see 10,000+ people, we feel it. It's a great feeling. It just needs to keep growing because the league's going to keep growing. The talent's going to keep growing. We just need the fans to keep coming along with us.
And speaking of those fans, you're one of the fan favorites here in Michigan. I know guys are always trying to get your autographs, and you're one of the hype men. You're always getting the crowd going. Can you just kind of speak to like just the energy that you play with and the passion you bring to the field?
I mean, first things first, I love doing the hype. It's actually really fun. Sage hit me up for it the first time, and I was like, yeah, sure, I got it. And then the next week, my fiance was just like, hey, can I do it again? She's here. And he's like, of course, you can do it. And then we kind of just rolled with it. And the fans have been loving it. People comment about it, tag me in videos on it. But having that energy, like the pregame hype, getting everyone up and screaming and having fun, allows me to just go out there and play and have fun. Like, I mean, if you watch me individually, like I'm dancing on the field during games.
Oh, yeah.
Having a blast. Like, football's fun for me, so...
There's never a dull moment. I mean, every time I look at you when I'm on the sidelines or even just rewatching the broadcast, you're spiking the ball and screaming at the top of your lungs, and there's always some dynamic going on over there.
Exactly. Like, you gotta have fun doing it. You let the energy flow, and when you have the fan energy, man, you feed off it. You just keep having fun with it, and then you get them excited, and then everyone's excited. You can't hear anything. It's a great time.
Yeah, speaking to that fan engagement and the energy, you guys are about to head into St. Louis, which, I mean, they have the largest fan base in the league when it comes to average attendance, and that's going to be that building's going to be rocking. How excited are you to go play in St. Louis, with that type of NFL-style environment down there?
I mean, I'm really excited for it. It reminds me of, like, the college days when you're playing these massive stadiums, crazy student sections, and you can't hear anything, but you're having a blast, and then you're over here like, hey, I want to play, like, home wrecker. I want to send everyone home upset and sad and crying, and that's kind of what you're looking forward to doing. Like every game when you go on the road, you want to win. You want it. You want that noise crazy in the beginning, and then by the end of the game, you want it to be quiet. That's how you know you truly defeated not just them but the fans as well.
We got a full panel here. I'm gonna dish the mic off first to Jake because he's the only Michigan Panthers fan on the show. Ref is, like I said, he's a Roughnecks fan, so don't believe the fake hype.
Crazy.
Well, hold on. Apparently I am not talking into my actual mic for whatever reason. This stupid thing is picking up off the.
Okay, well, while you figure that out,
Yourself.
Ref, take it away. I know you got something stupid to say.
Stupid. Hold on here. I mean, this is important business. So, have you ever heard of ref's law?
I've seen comments about it on Twitter. I had to look up what it was.
Yeah. It's a very dangerous thing. We thought it was over. So last week, just to bring you up to speed, last week was the second time in history, first time in UFL history that both the Houston Roughnecks and the Michigan Panthers won on the same weekend. And I thought the curse was over. Now, this week, we saw that wasn't the case. So I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that other than wondering if you had ever heard about it. I'm always actually curious if my nonsense makes it out of my inside circle. So it sounds like it has. Tell me why you think the Houston Roughnecks is going to be your toughest opponent this year.
I mean, the toughest opponent this year is the next game. Doesn't matter who it is.
It's not against the Roughnecks.
Ryan's got the PR answer down. I like it.
Oh, for sure.
PR trained. Sage has got him trained.
No, this was from college. In college, whenever we'd have a rough game, they knew people, like the Wolves, be at the gate, like, hey, you want to go do this one? I'm like, I got it. And then, like, you know, being at a really prestigious college, you learn how to say things a certain way to kind of like backhand someone a little bit. You're like, hey, you're saying we can't run the ball, but we're averaging XYZ yards per carry, this many rushing touchdowns. So are you watching the game or are you reading a stat line? And then they have to like question themselves on TV, and you're like, I got him.
Yeah. Sign it up. You know, Ducky, I'm sure you were out in Michigan this weekend,
yep.
Right? So what was your favorite part of the game? Now, I know you were there rooting for the wrong team, it sounds like. So what was your you witnessed the hype in action? Any thoughts on that?
I mean, it was pretty cool seeing you hold the belt and everything. That's a legit belt. Like, I was looking at it. It's like, that thing's cool. I was like, wow.
What is this
I
belt?
couldn't believe it.
Tell me more about this. I don't even know what you're talking about.
This guy's a fake fan. No, it's like a WWE belt. It's like, I don't know. Is it metal? Or is it plastic?
That thing is metal. It is very heavy.
Really?
Yeah,
That's cool. That's legit.
Because I was supposed to do it 2 weeks ago now, and they were like, we forgot it in the truck or on the sideline, whatever. We'll give it to you this game. I was like, all right. So they gave it to me before I ran out of the tunnel, and I was like, okay, it's just a belt. I got to grab it. I was like, wow, this thing's actually kind of heavy. And then they gave me the mic. I was like, so you want me to run? Because I usually run out not like holding my helmet, not wearing it. I'm like, so I'm running out now. Belt in one hand, mic in the other, which is it's a live mic too.
Sitting there grunting like Serena Williams.
I'm like, guys, like, I hate having to run this far. Why are you giving me a live mic to do it? And like, oh, don't worry, we'll make sure it's not on you when you're out there running. I was like, all right, appreciate that. But yeah, the belt's great. WWE belt. I think that goes back to when we had Big E, 2 years ago as our hype guy?
Right, yeah.
So is that a holdover from him then?
It might be. Actually, I don't know, but I'm going to run with it.
Hell yeah. Look, Ryan, speaking of the live mics, there's something I wanted to ask you about because, I don't know, I think it was maybe a week or so ago on Twitter, I saw you said that you're talking to somebody about, you know, having a camera on you or a mic on you, and you're like, you said, quote, most of that footage wouldn't be allowed on air. So, Ryan, why would that footage not be allowed on air?
I mean, if you think about it, like, in the trenches is a completely different football game. All these skill guys want to say stuff to each other all the time. Like, I don't think you guys could, like, fully fathom the fact that, like, the stuff we do in the trenches between the O and the D line that you use to one up somebody, like the quick jab to the throat, or you bury someone in a pile, make sure you push off them, say a few words that, like, maybe mom and dad wouldn't want to hear. You don't want little kids being like,
Right.
"Oh, I learned how to say whatever from Ryan Nelson from the Michigan Panthers," and then I'm like, "No, you did not."
Man of the Year award. I
There's
see
a
it
kid
now.
watching this show right now that is gonna use that as an excuse.
No, I know, but you got to make sure. Like, I have fun playing the game. I'm unhinged playing the game. I play the game very loose. I don't want to have to make sure I have to like filter myself while I'm playing a game. I do enough of that when I'm in a classroom during the off season teaching and doing all that. During season, dude, I'm unhinged, just having fun.
Ducky, I feel like this is a good segment for you because you are all about the trash talk.
Yeah, I like trash talking, but it's kind of hard with who I root for. I love those guys, though. Best defense in the league still.
I could tell you like what I was telling Boogie during games last game, but I don't want to break your heart.
Oh, don't do that, because then I got to defend my guy.
Well, Boogie's my guy, too. Like, we filmed EA together.
Oh, that's right. Lauren from Michigan Panther Pride was telling me that, yeah.
Yeah, so we had a, 3rd and 2 feet or whatever. We ran the ball right behind me, right at Boogie. Make a big block. We get it. I'm chirping him the entire time. Like, that's an offensive super win, bro. That's right at you, Bug. That's right at you. That's big boy football, Bug. Where you at, Bug? Just chirping him. Because when we played at Memphis, on one of the QB sneaks, he's on the floor punching me in the leg. So I was like, all right, I'm going to have to get you back. But you know,
he's good at trash talk.
I love Boogie, you know?
Yeah. We all love Boogie. Jake, is your mic finally working?
Yeah, I think so.
There we go. That's a crisp voice.
Well, I mean, you kind of stole my first question a little bit, James, talking about Battlehawks, but, well, kind of not really. But, I mean, obviously we know that while the Battlehawks, the team, might not actually ever show up at games in St. Louis, the fans certainly do. Have you guys made any sort of plans or like any preparations for the loud crowd that you know that St. Louis is going to bring, even as the Sword of Wings disappoint on the field?
Well, first things first, that's a crazy comment to make about those guys, about them not showing up, man. That's nuts.
I mean, 2000, 2023, 2024. I mean,
they're a great team. You can never overlook anybody. Like, hey, man, we got a Cleveland Brown jacket over there. Like,
oh my goodness!
Look at Cleveland. You can't do that. But
to be fair, I wasn't even a Cleveland fan. I wasn't. My dad was, and he passed away. I took over the torch for it. So
wait, why am I laughing?
Well, we know
newsflash: James is actually the one who killed my dad. That's why he's laughing.
He didn't hit a deer.
James said, "Let me help you from seeing Memphis Showboats have to play in the UFL."
He's like, "Oh, you're a Memphis fan, a Cleveland fan. You're short. Pick a struggle, dude."
The rough one out here for you. Anyways, so getting ready for the crowd noise. I feel like everyone who's played a high-level football has played in very loud stadiums. So you do little things like you work a silent cadence, or you get the crowd quiet real quick. I want to say like the loudest game I've played in that always comes to mind was I played at two of them. I played at Boise when Boise was like you couldn't beat them at home. The stadium echoed. Yeah, we hung 70 on them and got the crowd real quiet real quick. And then I played Notre Dame in front of sold out stands, and you couldn't hear anything. You get used to it. You get used to the noise. I mean, there's not much as we said on the O line. Maybe that one will let you guys mic me up for it, because then you can't hear anything anyways. But yeah, you just get used to little things. You change things up a little bit. You figure out a silent cadence that works for you. Stuff like that.
It's because, yeah, I mean, like with the UFL, like this is the first time Panthers have played, going to be playing in front of 20,000+, so didn't know if it was going to be a little different. But yeah, most of you guys played FBS, so that makes sense. And then the other thing, so obviously you played with Bryce a little bit last year, obviously UVA teammate. How's it feel like being able to block for him, being his, left tackle, being his blindside blocker for, the majority of snaps this year? What's that been like?
Actually, I want to say I've been his blindside for all of his snaps this year. I think I've been out for 3 plays total this season, and they were when Danny was in. But, I love it, man. He's one of my best friends. He's a great guy to be around. spent a lot of time with him. I spent a lot of time with him in college. He's been to the house back home in California. Like, he's met the family. I've met his family. We've spent countless time together. I feel like for me, it's a little extra because I'm like, all right, like, I like you. You're my freaking boy from college. I like your family, bro. I have to make this block for you. If, God forbid, I ever let anyone hit him, I already know I'm going to have text message in my phone like, I can't believe you let Bryce get hit. Like, everyone I know. So I'm like, all right. So it's a little extra motivation for me. And then also, like, it's a comfort thing for him, too. And someone pointed out to me, like, if you actually watch it during game copies, every time I'm on the sideline, I'm standing there getting ready for the next drive, he somehow finds a way to be right beside me. And I was like, man, am I walking over to him? Then I realized, like, it's not me walking him. It's him walking over to me because it's like a trust thing. Like, that's my guy. I feel comfortable here. I feel confident in you. And then I tell him every game, like, I got you. No one's going to touch you. I got you.
I got a question.
What's up?
What goes through your head whenever you turn around and you see Bryce Perkins 6 feet in the air trying to hurdle somebody?
I've seen him do it so many times that I'm like, all right, cool. I get it. I mean, I got in trouble in college. I think we were playing Louisville. He hurdled 2 dudes, I want to say in one play, and scored a touchdown. I got in trouble in film for walking over the D lineman on the floor and like, pointing at him and laughing. They're like, you're about to be on a highlight tape. And going in the touchdown and then celebrating. So I want to say, like, we came in the film. My coach's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, having fun, man. Like, this is what it's all about. I've told him a few times, like, hey, man, if you're going to hurdle, I need you to clear him, bro. So then I give him crap. I'm like, dude, you must be getting old, man. You're not even clearing dudes anymore. Like, what's going on here? And he gives it back to me like, must be losing a step then, bro. I'm like, come on, man, figure it out. But nah, I always have fun watching it because I'm like, all right, cool, clear, let's go.
I want to pass the mic over to Thorne because I know we're just kind of talking about Ryan, the position that you're playing this year, and Nick, you had a question kind of specifically about that position and the change there.
Yeah, so now you're a full-time left tackle. From what my research, that you haven't been there like full-time for about 5 years or so, dating back to time in Virginia.
My God.
Yeah. So I think coming into the year, and Jake can attest to this, one of my concerns was what Michigan was going to do at tackle, and it didn't seem very obvious like what the plan was there. And I think one of the best stories here through 4 weeks has been you playing left tackle and dominating there and being a big reason why this Michigan run game we saw this week especially has been pretty dominant. And you've been one of the better offensive linemen there. So I was kind of curious, what was the process of moving back to tackle? Do you feel more comfortable out there, or is it, just hey, I can play any position, doesn't matter, whatever the team needs kind of thing? I'm just curious what your thoughts are on it all.
First, I appreciate that. And then, so I played tackle in college. I moved to guard when one of our guards wasn't playing up to par and they needed me to play there. Coming out, I went to the Giants playing tackle and then played tackle in the CFL. When I got to Michigan, this is actually a really funny Eric Marty story. When they first signed me and I asked him for the playbook, he sent me the quarterback playbook. As in, like, he didn't actually know that I played offensive line. So I was, like, trying to figure out, like, everything from that. And then I was like, dude, like, am I missing something? I don't see any of the blocking schemes. He's like, what do you mean blocking schemes? And I was like, dude, I play offensive line. He was like, oh, my bad. Send me the right stuff. I come in, and they had me listed at right guard for some reason. I do my first practice, and Coach Holt's talking to me. Me and Coach Holt are super cool now, but I was like, yeah, I've never played right guard. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I played left side in college, but I meant like left side, tackle, guard. And he's like, okay, play guard. And I was like, all right, I just want to be on the field. Didn't want to be confrontational about it. I played all 4 spots against Generals in my year 1 in one game, and I was like, all right, that's fun. Always wanted to get back out there, but I was like, hey, let me do what's best for the team. Let me do what can get me on the field. And then coming into this year, they're like, hey, we need someone to play tackle. And we had been like kind of telling coach, like, hey, let's get me back out left tackle. Let's get the boys rolling together. That way we can get Cole started and we get everyone on the line together. And put it out there, and then stuff happened with Jarrett, and they were like, you know what? Go for it. And I heard the coaches were like, well, can you do it? And Holt's like, yeah, I mean, Did it all in college. Let's just let him do it. And I've been having a blast at it. I mean, I have fun out there. I like the island. I don't like trying to feel like I'm confined inside the line where I'm getting stepped on both sides. Just outside, I'm like, all right, it's me versus you, bro. You're supposed to be the best pass rusher on this team. Try to beat me. And I want to say, like, last game, like, this is what I said, like, you can't, like, mic someone up. Like, I'm over here telling the kid mid-pass rush, I was like, you're so small. This is an adorable bull rush. Are you even trying right now? Because you got to think, like, if you go from inside against big dudes that are strong, they're strong, not as fast, but they're quick, they're twitchy. And you got to stop that. And then you go outside to someone trying to bull rush you who's on average like 80 pounds lighter. It's a big change. When it comes to comfortability, like, I feel like I can play anywhere. I've played all four. I learned to snap, so I can do it in an emergency situation. Luckily, I won't have to this year. We have enough guys who can do that. But I love playing left tackle. That was always what I loved doing in high school and college, what I wanted to do professionally, and getting to do it this year. I'm having a blast, man. It's so much fun out there.
Yeah, I think I think I just want to highlight a point there because you see this discussion a lot, especially, drafts this week, about how a lot of people assume if a guy can't play tackle, he's a guard. And I think, you highlighting, playing in combined spaces and having to deal with bigger, stronger players there is a good point where, like, people just assume, like, hey, tackle's tougher and, automatically, it's like, well, it's the thing of, like, hey, he can't play corner, so he's a safety. And I don't think that's really accurate. I think it's its own beast.
I think it's for sure its own beast, especially at the higher levels. So I want to say, growing up, your best offensive lineman in high school plays tackle. But then you could also think about, like, if I go to a school where average, like my high school was kids averaging like 5'8" on my offensive line, and then there was me. Of course, I was going to play tackle. But if I'm only like 6'2" and everyone around me is 5'8", when I go to college, I'm getting bumped inside because you naturally need that length and that height to play tackle. And tackles keep getting taller and taller. I want to say, like, I'm 6'6". I'm on the shorter end. That makes it easier for me to just bump inside because I can take away that space from you. So I already had the feet to play tackle, but now I can take away the space and not have to worry about the length inside. And then it's also like your guys inside, because they're shorter, are usually super stocky, super freaking strong. So that's kind of just how that works. It's not you can't do whatever. It's you're trying to figure out where you can get your best five up at the time. That's why a lot of times you'll see guys bump around in their career, like even in the NFL, where they're like, hey, I played right. Mekhi Becton played left tackle or right tackle or Louisville, whatever, and is getting a second chance in his career at guard. He's huge. He's strong. You can go inside and move people. You take away the space and everything. It's a great thing for him.
Now, something I wanted to point out really quick, Ryan, just to kind of circle back to your trash talk from this past week. You backed up the trash talk because the PFF information just came out, and you allowed 0 sacks, 0 hits, 0 hurries, and 0 pressures. So whatever you said out there was fully justified. Just had to say that.
Are the grades out right now?
Yeah, they just came out.
What I grade out at?
88.4.
Yeah.
Total or pass?
Total. Run block was 85.2. Pass was 89.8.
So I'm going to ask you a question now. Who does PFF?
Like for the UFL?
No, in general. Do you know? So
It's like its own company.
Yeah, PFF
Not players.
Yeah, it's not players. Do you want to know what my grade from Coach Holt was? At a 95.
Hell yeah.
And the only 3 that he dinged me on were because I told him after the game, I was like, Coach, we wrote that I might have played a perfect game. So he went back and nitpicked. He was like, oh, your inside hand wasn't torqued enough this way. All right, he pushed you a little too much, so you turned your hips. And I'm like, man, are you kidding me? Like, that's what you're dinging me on? But it's also because we have that relationship where, like, we're really cool. And he was like, dude, there was no in hell I was going to give you 100. So the thing about that, like, someone who knows our system, knows our plays, knows how everything should be, versus someone who's just looking from an outside perspective going, oh, I think that looks right. But I mean, you said an 88 point what?
The overall grade was 88.4.
I'll take it.
That is very good. I will say.
Yeah.
Like for PFF, very rarely do you get into the 90s. So I don't know if I've ever seen an offensive lineman grade out that well for a game, honestly. In the UFL, that is.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm wondering what my roommates graded out as because I live with Cole Cabral and Noah Johnson. Like, we work really hard to try to beat each other every week.
All right, well, I'm going to pull it up right now. Oh, Cole's overall was 89.3.
No way.
Oh, bragging rights are stripped.
Oh my God! Of course.
Let's see. Did we finish in second or third? Okay, you're chilling. Noah was 70.3. So
Okay.
you at least got a silver medal from this week.
Terrible.
But Cole's your pass blocking was the best of all three. Cole's was 80.6.
Yeah, those two absolutely great guys. Cole and I even work out together, and he also does EA with me too. So I needed another guy for it. Yeah,
That's
those
awesome.
two are good. Yeah, those two are amazing. Love living with those guys.
Well, Ryan, this has been a fun show. We really appreciate you joining us. I don't know, does anyone else on the panel have any final words for Ryan before we let him get back to whatever it is that he needs to do? Probably go, I don't know, rattle Cole for beating him this week?
Yeah, it's gonna be some talk right now.
I'm just gonna say make sure you keep Bryce upright because we got the MVP campaign going. Like he's on it. I've said it since last year, as soon as Panthers signed him, that he's MVP level in the UFO for sure. And this year with the playing time he's been getting, he's been proving it. I would not be surprised if he wins the Offensive Player of the week again. I mean, Teamid played pretty good. Jordan played pretty good yesterday. He came up short, so hopefully, Bryce gets it again. He certainly deserved it the way that he played on Friday.
And again, I'm shocked. This is coming from a guy that ranked Michigan number 4 this week. But
I love my team. All I'm saying is get past St. Louis, and you guys will be right up at the top of my board.
Just win the championship, and he'll put you at number 1.
Hey, I have expectations now. The Lions are a perennial playoff team, it looks like. Michigan won the Natty, 2023. I got expectations.
All right. Keep that in mind. Just like you guys keep it in mind that Ducky did think Memphis was going to win that game.
Hey, the worst part? They're going to win this weekend, too.
Who they playing?
Birmingham.
Memphis all the way, baby.
Yeah, clip it. Clip it.
Oh, man. Ryan, seriously, thank you so much for joining us. This was fun. We'll have to bring you
course.
on again, and maybe we'll have you on when Jake's rankings are higher and when your PFF grade is higher than Cole's.
Cole will be on next week.
If you want to be back on the show, Ryan, you got to beat Cole.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
Take it easy, Ryan. Thank you.
oh man, these shows they keep getting better and better. I'll tell you what.
And the guests aren't done.
Jace
Jace is hopping on at some point.
He's gonna pop up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He let me down because I know he's backstage watching.
See, here's the thing. There's a delay probably. So give it whatever the stream delay is, and he'll probably hit it right when you said 1.
No, see, he's messing with me. Because he heard me say I'm picking Memphis, so now he's messing with me.
Well, I mean, he's
In the
been
meantime.
really good. He beat the toughest team in the league over the weekend. I'll tell you. Well, I'll save the story for later. But
Wait, who?
They beat the Roughnecks, and I mean, the
Oh,
Roughnecks
dude, I
gave
was
them a
like
run
wigging
for
out.
their
I'm like,
money.
wait, who'd they play? I was like thinking like DC played the Brahmas. I'm like, wait a minute. They didn't play the best team.
I think there he is. There's
he's
big
back.
man on campus. How you feeling? Big win this weekend. Probably your toughest competition of the year with the Roughnecks. I mean, it was a hell of a game. I was there with my wife, and we were watching the game. And at one point, you had a reception. I clapped, and my wife said, "No, that's the wrong team." I said, "No, you're allowed to root for him. He's okay."
I appreciate it. Definitely piggyback. I was listening. I couldn't switch over from YouTube fast enough to make it on your countdown, Ducky, but I wanted to. Trust me, I wanted to. No, the Houston game was fun. It was intense. It didn't feel as close as it was, but it was a 7-point game at the end of the day. So
yeah, big. I mean, this was not the week to be a quarterback in the UFL. Your team included in that situation. I don't know if there's any updates on Corral that you can share, or how's the morale in the locker room? Like, how are you guys feeling going into the next week?
Really, we didn't have a lot of time to, enjoy and celebrate the Houston win because, we played Friday, so it's such a quick turnaround. There's pros and cons to that situation. Either way you look at it, on one hand, we get to move on and get right to work, and now we're on to Memphis and just focusing on that. But in the negative of that is everybody is a little more sore, a little tired. I think this is our third Friday night game in 5 games. Right, this will be our 5th game.
Yeah.
I get confused because some teams have played only 3 teams, and we played 4 games, and so some teams have played the same team twice, and so it confuses me. Yeah, and so we play on Friday, so it'll be a shorter week, and yeah, so everybody's kind of recovering, but the morale is good. Team's feeling good. Matt's doing fine. Like I said, I don't even think he got an X-ray or anything. It was nothing major like that, I think. Yeah, so everybody's fine. Everybody's good for the most part. Case did good. That was sweet to see him get in there, and then it also made my stomach drop. I don't know if you watched on a pitch the second play of the game. I think that he was in. He was lead blocking and threw a block, and I was just like, yo. You're the third. Like we can't sign people at this game. We had my boy Andrew, but I was like, he's been here like 3 days. Like, let's not do that to him just yet. At least let him get a week under his belt.
What's the NFL rule? The punter becomes the quarterback. Something like
that's
that.
What I was. That's what I mean. No, we would have
Colby
had.
Wadman back there. Just
it's somebody that like.
Dude, Jace is quarterback, obviously.
Apparently, we have. I'm sure every team has it, but like all of our receivers say that they can throw the ball and have, what I'm saying? Like they all think that they can play QB and do stuff. So I'm sure we would try a receiver before Mr. Wadman.
You guys got that one receiver, Magoo,
yeah. Exactly.
Oh man, Jace, yeah, I kind of want to get your thoughts on playing with Case Cookus because that's a guy that obviously was a rival of Birmingham's for a couple of years. I mean, you weren't on the championship team in 2022 when they went up against him with the Stars, but Philadelphia and Birmingham always had down to the wire matchups. Last year played Case a couple of times, and then now he's on your team and he really helped you out. So what's it been like just kind of working with him and kind of seeing the way that he's adjusted to Skip Holtz's system?
I don't think you could ask for a better I don't want to say mid-year because it was camp, but I guess training camp signee, late add-on addition. Like the stuff he brings to the table is you can't coach it. You just very mature. You can tell he's been in the system. Definitely a hard worker, cares about the game. And I saw a quote that Skip said about him. I don't remember all of it. Just that he said that he's best friends with he's everybody's best friend. And I was like, it made me kind of stop and think. I was like, dang, that's like a really good comparison. Because like, I feel like everybody does like Case. Like they would trust him as if you would trust like your best friend. Like he is a genuine, just good overall dude. And so it was one of those things. Like obviously you don't want to see your teammate go down, but at the same time, like when Case was going in there, I was like, he's probably not going to do an RPO and go for 99 yards right here. But like I'm very confident that we're going to drive down the field and do what we need to do on time. Like there's anybody else that had to be in there, like I would want it. I would want it to be Case. And so, props to him. And yeah, he's been like I said, he's been here almost a little over a month, maybe going on 2 months. And I'd say he's he's one of our key chemistry guys, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Like, and that's the other thing. Everybody, he came to the team, everybody has to earn your respect in a way, but he's also had a mutual respect from our, previously, like you said, just all the previous matchups. And we watched him last year. We played him. I think we had like 10 sacks against him, both games combined. And so like he had everybody's respect on our team. It was like, dude, you took an ass whooping like back-to-back games, like, and you never complained. You just kept getting up. And so it was like I feel like we opened him with welcome arms also. So, credit to Coach Holtz for, creating that environment.
Yeah, and I'd be curious to get your thoughts on what it's like, I mean, this is the second time now this season that you've seen your starting quarterback have to leave the game, right? Where Alex McGee went down in week 2, and this game, Matt Corral, who was playing really well. I mean, this was probably the best game of his season so far when it comes to consistency, pushing the ball down the field. He was accurate going through his reads. He goes down. When you're in that situation and a new quarterback comes in, you haven't seen Case in an actual game with you guys. Was there kind of like a bit of like a breath of relief after that first deep pass that dime to Davion Davis, and you're like, okay, like we're good, we're fine? Was that?
It was more than a breath of relief. Like that was like the key point of that was a huge moment. Like we don't get that conversion, we're punting the ball, and we're just praying our defense bails us out again. Like that to me, that was the play of the game. Regardless of the actual points scored, but like meaning, like I said, we could be 2-2 right now talking about this. Like it was a huge play to me. So for him just to come in there and no big deal. And what's crazy, out of all the plays that he played in the game, he's more worried about the play that he didn't make it was the second down on the final drive, obviously, but the second down before we kicked the field goal, we were in two tight end set. I was on the right side, Marcus was on the left, and we were just going to run a simple slant flat concept like every team has in their playbook. And he's mad at himself that he didn't throw me in the flat because they busted and no one covered me, and I would have had to make the decision if I was going to slide or if we were going to score. Like it was that open, and he threw the slant. And it was like as soon as he threw it, he's like, Jace, my bad. Like I knew that's where I was supposed to go, and like he's more worried about that than him making probably one of the best throws of the game and whatnot. And so I feel like that just kind of speaks to his character and how he is as a leader. Like he's focused on the end goal, and as a player, you just have to appreciate that.
I gotta pass the mic to Ref because obviously Roughnecks are his team, and I feel like I don't know. There's been a bit of bad blood between you guys before. I mean, with some of his comments, Ref, what do you gotta say about this loss?
It was a tough loss, I'll be honest. But I will say this: you probably didn't think it was going to be this close of a game. A 7-point game. The Roughnecks had a shot to win this game. At one point, there was only a 1-point game, and I'll be honest, that's all it took for me. That's when I left. I said, I've seen everything I could see. I can't watch the rest of this game. I'm going out on top, and by on top, down by 1. And so, but on the side note, is my wife's birthday. So if you saw a Ref shirt in the crowd for half of the game and not the second half, that's why. Blame my wife.
I didn't see the Ref shirt. I did see someone wearing a Paul Crew jersey, and so that had my attention the whole time. I kept looking at that. It was right in the end zone too. I thought that was pretty sweet. But yeah, no, like you said, I don't want to say I didn't think it was going to be that close, and because I was listening to obviously I'm a long-time listener of the show. I was listening to it before I hopped on, and I get it. We're talking about the parity in the league and how everybody's beatable and whatnot, but like the year 1 that Birmingham won the championship, I'm pretty sure they were losing in like every game, and I think that was like the team's inside joke. Like Jamar, like they would always talk about, is like somehow we'd score on the final drive or come back in the fourth quarter and win. So it's like Birmingham, we only won close games in year 1. Year 2, besides the Todd Haley, like I don't count like that 42-2 win. Like that was Memphis quit. They didn't have an identity yet. They didn't know what they were doing. Like they weren't playing hard yet. But year 2, we didn't have any crazy blowouts. It all came down to a final play in the fourth quarter, a decision, a turnover, this and that. And kind of like last week, Michigan, it was a close game, but then Michigan, pulled away in the fourth quarter. It's like we had a couple of those games, but besides San Antonio last year, I just don't know a game where like we've just come out and just beat the crap out of a team like up and down, and we've put up 60. Correct that. Playoff game breakers. We went out there and like that was from the get-go, it was a butt whooping. But like and I'm sure every team has one of those games. Like St. Louis did it last year to DC when DC right, or is it the other way around? The DC blow out St. Louis. Right, and it was just weird. Like there's certain situations, but I feel like for the most part, most of these games. I mean, at least from our perspective, we never have easy games. I feel like it always comes down to the fourth quarter. It's always like, maybe not always to the fourth quarter, but there's a point where if we didn't execute or capitalize, like it could have been a whole different game, or we could have lost. And so, I don't know. I feel like I'm aware of that as a player, and our players are aware of that as well. So it's like we always have respect for our opponents. It's not like we just think like we're just gonna come out and blow everybody out by any means. And so, yeah, to me, 7 is a lot in this league. Like I said, one, it's the touchdown, and a lot of people get only 6 points, and so yeah, I don't. Yeah, I was surprised. I guess we won by 7, but I think last year they scored. Houston, you guys scored late against us too, and it was a one possession game
Yeah.
at the second time around. So I mean,
Well, and the
I think
Houston's the only team to beat you twice still, right? Is that the case?
and and it would make your day that was one of the focal points that Coach Holtz talked about all week. He's like, there's only one team who's constantly had our number, and it's Houston. And so we're like, again, we do a lot of reflecting as on ourselves of what we need to do and what the reality is and what's happened in the past. And so we definitely didn't take Houston lightly.
Wow.
Jace, we're trying to get some of the fans of the show a little bit more involved with some of the questions they're asking. I see UFO highlights here. Any comments on Houston's false start on the final interception?
The final interception. Okay, yeah, the one that JoJo had. I think was it Pereira in the booth? They should have reviewed it. They should have gave Houston another chance. And guess what? If Birmingham would have let them drive 80 yards and scored, then Houston wins. First they need to learn to stay on sides. Secondly, they drove down 80 yards and scored on us. Good for them. They earned it. Like I said, you can't control everything. I wish they would have called the false start. I would have loved to see if our defense could have got another stop. It would have been interesting.
I also take issue with that because, like, even when you slow it down, it's just not a false start. It's just that he gets out of his stance really quickly, like he quick sets, and so it kind of looks like, man, he moved off the ball really fast. But even if you like slow it down, he like doesn't go early at all. So
are you on the joke with me? Are we talking about Arlington, Birmingham, or are you talking actually about Houston?
Legitimately, people were upset because on that interception, they thought that an offensive lineman jumped, and it was like, well, when Birmingham had the guy jump, they called it, but they didn't for this one. But that guy,
I thought y'all were just trolling me. I thought you were just trolling me. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, no, it was a thing.
It
was a legitimate thing.
It was kind of obviously it was only a 1-point differential, but it's kind of the same scenario that we were in last week if the roles were reversed. Like,
yeah.
So I thought he was just saying, like, being funny. That's why I was talking about the Arlington going 80.
People were upset.
Never even knew that. But again, I'm sure Pereira could have reviewed it like he would have because it was under 2 minutes, I think. So,
yep.
Like I said, again, when that happened to us last week, I'm prepared for it not to go our way this year. Like, something is going to happen that's unfortunate, but it is the rule. So, like, we're going to have to deal with it, whether it's offense or defense. So, like, again, I'm embracing it that we did get a call. It was fortunate that we jumped off or it was a false start. But, again, also it's like, don't let us drive 70 yards in 20 seconds after that play, and then 4th and 11, But, well.
Jace, I'm curious because, and Ducky, feel free to chime in since Memphis is your team, but you guys are preparing for the Showboats this week, and I mean, a lot of people kind of just see Birmingham as, oh, yeah, this is an easy win for the Stallions. You're 3-1, Memphis 0-4, but obviously you're shaking your head. I can see it. Like, how do you try to prepare for a game like this, especially as a team where it's like you don't want to go into it with like, oh, they're 0-4. Like, this is a pro football team, and at any given day, anybody can win this league. So, like, how do you kind of maintain that mindset of not being complacent,
One, we have no room to be complacent. People still think that we're not very good and that we've, just kind of skated by. And so we still have a lot to prove to everybody and ourselves. We still want to put it together. Offense, we played a little better last week, but it's not where we want to be. Like, that's not good enough for us at all. So, we're still working on ourselves at the end of the day. And a lot of us watch the UFL. Memphis was up 6-0. I believe they scored first. So, and it was like a 1-point game in the third quarter, maybe one possession. I can't remember when Michigan pulled away, but I mean, like I said, you can't take any team lightly in this league. Anyone's capable of winning, whether if you're 0-3 or 3-0, whatever it may be. Like I think San Antonio proved that yesterday, and so yeah, no one will be taking Memphis lightly this week. We know because there's nothing worse. What's worse than being 0-4 is being 0-5. So it's like none of those guys in that room are trying to go 0-5. So like, I would imagine we're going to get their best, and they're going to be more determined and more focused. And all the little errors that they made last week, mental errors, whatever it is, they're preaching this week to focus on it. And yeah, I think we'll see the best Memphis team this year.
Yeah, and to kind of bounce off of that, obviously we've talked about him before, Jaron Horton. You know, one of the better defensive minds in the scene, and that defense is going to be ready. You know, what might have you at least had some time yet to look at that Memphis defense, and are there any players in particular that you've been like impressed with their play this season?
I mean, that's all today. It was a regular work day for us. So I mean, we were watching tape on Memphis from earlier this morning. Uh, I'm honestly not surprised. I mean, obviously Boogie, PJ Hall, he's a stud. I'm watching. He absolutely dominated the Washington game or the DC game when he played. Like I thought he was a menace in the interior. Um, but the one, I believe Birmingham, we signed him, didn't we? We had Eli Walker on our team at one point.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Gilbert.
man. Like, yeah. I remember we had Mark, but yeah, Eli. He feels. I had to fix my wording before I made it sound super inappropriate. He fills the gap really, really good. I was about to say the hole really good. He fills the gaps really good, and I think he's a very good tackler. His instincts are like I've watched every UFL game this year, and every time I turn on the tape, he's flying around, and I'm just like, and Zach Potter's my guy. I'm like, why did we not give this guy like what? Because he was one of our pre-camp cuts. Like he didn't even make it to camp. So I'm just like, this dude is you're telling me there's no way we could have found a spot.
I believe he was
for him on our
cut for
defense?
AJ Thomas.
AJ Thomas is my guy, so I get it. Business is business, but AJ's smart. He can play anywhere on the field. Like,
Well, he's
if
played a bit of
they
linebacker for you guys this season.
yeah, and if they were like, we need you to play end, he would, and he would learn it. And yeah, AJ's awesome. But yeah, I think Eli is having a really good year. I talked about Steel Chambers last week. The D line's physical. Yeah, I mean, I think Memphis is good. Like I said, I don't think their record indicates, their quality of work. And like I said, I don't think if a defense is ready, I don't see why, Jonathan Adams. I almost said Anderson. Jonathan Adams, he could go for 200 yards quick. So I mean, everybody has to be accountable this week.
I mean,
Adams
going to need someone to get it to him though. And if they keep going with Perry, I don't know. Like I love Perry. Like I still preferred him over a lot of the options for the Panthers, but I mean, he's looking rough.
Yep. It all happens. Like I said, he looked, but then again, like I feel like if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't be in that DC game with what it was because of him. So you never know. So much can change in 1 week. Like I said, you just at this point you just want everybody to keep staying healthy, and then as human nature, I feel like a football player is like every team, every player is only going to keep getting better throughout the year. One, just because you're more comfortable, you're getting in more of a routine, and like I said, we're still, I guess we're almost at the halfway point, but it still is early in the sense of development. And I guess 3 weeks from now, we could be like the whole rankings could be completely different. The whole rosters could be shifted. Like we talked about it last week. I was saying how I think injury, you're one injury away from changing a team, and kind of picking up what Thorne said. I'm not taking anything away from DC like who they are now, but like literally, I think it was like 20 minutes after our show or you guys' show. Sorry, I don't want to take credit for this. Your guys' show.
No, this is your show
later,
too.
Ty Scott got put on IR, and I'm just like, that's ironic. Like we were just talking about it, and it's like obviously DC they had other receivers make plays, but like that was a key. I feel like he's a big locker room guy. He's all over the socials, and it's like it's crazy. Like one person can kind of change the whole scheme of things because it's like they're still going to be good, but they're going to have to do things maybe a little different way just to try to fill that role the best they can. And so, like I said, Manny Wilkins goes down on the craziest thing, like no contact, whatever. That's one of my good friends, and it's just like you hate to see it, but unfortunately, that's like the harsh reality of this game. And like I said, I'm just trying to take this season 1 week at a time at this point.
kind of want to open this one up to the whole panel, and Jace, feel free to chime in with whatever your thoughts are. But, we saw San Antonio beat DC last night. Obviously, I was there in person for that one. 0-3, tops 3-0. Kind of just speaks to, not just the parity in the league this year, but, anybody can win on any given Sunday. And I was really, really impressed with the job that Peyton Pardee's doing as interim head coach. I mean, that was his first official game as head coach, to go out there and beat the undefeated DC Defenders. Like, I think it's a good trend for the league that we're seeing these younger coaches step up and really perform well. And I hope we see the league kind of embrace that moving forward. But that was just a general statement. But anybody's comments are welcome.
Yep.
I'm perfectly happy with the coach we have in Houston. But if we had somebody a little bit younger, a little bit feistier, I probably wouldn't say no.
I mean,
AJ Smith, he walked away from the Brahmas. I'll pitch in. Let me start a GoFundMe. I'll get him over here. Sign us up.
My thing is, though, it's kind of not hard to win a football game when you're playing actual football players and not YouTubers. So I'll see if he can get another win. See if he can get another one this week.
I'll say.
I think.
Oh, you go, Jace.
No, go ahead. I'll say it last.
Okay. Yeah, I think San Antonio is legit. You've seen how they played against Michigan and now DC 2 weeks in a row. Obviously, they lost that Michigan game, but Michigan's, I had them as at the top this week. Both these teams are very good. I think San Antonio is not going away. I don't think this is a lot of people compared it to when Orlando beat DC a couple years ago and DC was undefeated. And that's not the case at all. This San Antonio team is legit. They're going to be feisty. I mean, the reality is that they play Houston this week. I think they win that game. And if they win that, they're going to be a game out from the playoffs in the XFL. So despite starting 3-0, they're going to be right back in the mix. And I think they're not going away. And I love Peyton Pardee. I think, just seeing him on the sideline, that's the kind of guy you want to work for, you want to be a player for. He's so personable. Yep. I think there's just there's an energy right now with that team that I don't see this as being some fluke that oh, hey, well, DC had penalties and blah, 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 whatever, the defensive line had an off day. No, I think San Antonio, they are going to go on a run here. And I think they're just as capable as the top 4 teams that are, consensus the best teams in the league.
Speaking of top 4, Jace, did you see our power rankings? What do you think about
First, let me say something real quick about the San Antonio. I agree with Lauren. I mean, we don't have to share the details, but I did talk football with Ducky on the side about things, and I did kind of just say how I was seeing these things play out. Just because history does repeat itself, and just certain things you just kind of have a feel of how things are going to go. And I thought that San Antonio smelled blood, they were. If I could give I don't even know if this is technically a metaphor. I imagine they're a team they're a shark, right? And they're swimming in the ocean. They haven't found food in a while, and they're not really on their killer instinct, so they kind of look goofy in the water. They don't look the best, and it just doesn't make sense. Well, I think when they played Michigan, somewhere along the way, they found blood in the water, and they smelled it a little bit, and things started clicking a little bit, and now it kind of goes back to okay, physically and everything, we were right there, but I think let's just take a hard look at ourselves in the mirror on these mental errors and assignments. And I think, and then Coach Phillips, I think him taking a step to the side might be one of the better things for the football team. Not because I know he's a great coach, everybody loves him, but it's so many people care about him, and obviously if he's not in the best health or his best self, everybody's going to feed off that and see that. And so obviously I know it probably wasn't an easy decision to make, but I think maybe him being gone, it was the players now, okay, let's do this for Coach Phillips. Let's get involved. That's just how I was viewing it all week. And I'm just man, DC's not the most healthy team right now. San Antonio's smelling blood. They were almost clicking. And then it looked, Kellen, that was his, but by far, to me, in my opinion, that was his best game of the year. They look like they're trying to get Ant more involved. The receivers were making plays. Anytime you score in special teams, you have a great. Your chances to win, I think, go to 90%. So Yeah, I don't think San Antonio is going anywhere. I think that was the best that their defense looked. Linebackers played awesome. The hit on the running back by my boy Beckett was nasty. Like they were feeling it. And like I said, next week they could be a completely different team. Who knows? But I think San Antonio, the way they played, like I said, we have to play them in 2 weeks, and so I think that will be our biggest. I mean, obviously this week is a huge test, but next week will be a really really big test.
See, he's got his mind on Brahmas already. He's not even thinking about Memphis.
You just
nah. See, listen to him. This is bulletin board material.
I went on a soapbox already about Memphis. You could never. And Coach Turner was my offensive line coach at A&M. So like,
okay.
I got the utmost respect for Coach Turner and Coach Horton. So it's like you couldn't pay me to say something bad about those guys.
Yeah. But the power rankings.
But the power rankings, that was like I said, it's so early. So I mean, like Mr. Nelson said earlier, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. See, that graphic is
click on
like this other one.
Click on the how we
I like
voted
this one where it shows the people and who voted for who. Yeah, I like that. I think Ducky has the best board, or actually no, there was someone. It's Jake. I like Jake's board the best. And obviously I'm biased, so Birmingham #1, but 2 through 8, I think that's the most appropriate. I think I would also put right now I'd put San Antonio in front of St. Louis. That's not a knock. That's just because like I said, I was impressed with San Antonio's defense. I thought they looked really good. But I just don't.
What do you think about?
I think people could argue. James has, believe it or not, you guys know him better than I do, but since day one, I think the day Michigan beats Birmingham, James will be more excited than the other panelists on the board. James,
yeah, I get that.
James,
I get the same feeling.
I think James is just coming along where he's a supporter of Birmingham in the dark. Like he's really, it's not like I don't think he's ever been a fan of us. He likes us because he's one of those, like, unfortunately, kind of how I am with Ryan. I wanted to hate him so bad, but listen to him talk, I'm like, damn, I think I would actually be friends with him. Like, he's a good dude. Like, he's funny. James is like that with Birmingham, with us, because, like, we're actually really nice to him, and everybody's super cool to him on the field.
Come on.
And so he's like a supporter out of guilt, but deep down, these rankings showed it to me, because I'm just like, man, I get it. And again, I'm on record. I said nothing but good things about Michigan when we played them. I spoke about how all stressed we all were in meetings, talking about how we got to take them so, like, this is a very good team. But I mean,
hey, look,
it's like, what are we comparing on this? And it's not the team, but it's like, okay, I'm being a troll, obviously, but like, they've played the same team twice in 4 weeks, which is not their fault. They didn't make the schedule, but also it's like the one team that they did the one team that they played with a winning record, it was double digits majority of the game till the last, and it was a touchdown and 3-point away on their home field. And according to everybody on Twitter, this was the best opportunity for Michigan to get it done. I would argue they had a more healthy team than they do now, and it's just like, I'm not taking anything away from them, because I get it, Mr. Etling, they were still rotating. Bryce MVP Perkins didn't play the full game. Like, I get all that. I'm aware of that. But I'm just saying, like, from a fan's perspective, it's like, you can't really, like, die on that hill, because it's like, and trust me, if it was roles were reversed, I'd be saying the same thing. Just
Jace,
like where I think
I just
it's
got
cool
one thing to say is, today I just kind of felt like pulling my best RJ Young impression and just throwing some shit on the wall and seeing what would stick. I'll be honest, Jace, I threw my power rankings together in the middle of driving home 8 hours from.
Oh, here come the
No, James,
he's gonna throw me under the bus.
I hear you, James.
There was not a lot of thought put into this. It was just Jake was pinging me a million times, and I was like, "All right, screw you. Here's some."
Nope. You and Thorne.
I think front 1
I
to
got
4.
I got your guys' screenshot, and it's bulletin boards the rest of my life now.
Just so everyone know, James lives in Michigan, so he's got bias.
I know he does. I've seen that since day one. I was like, let me get on his good side, because he's a good photographer, and now he's like, now we're friends. So it's like, that's the only reason why I feel like. That's the only reason why I feel like he cheers for Birmingham. He roots for Birmingham.
I don't root for anybody.
Side. I will.
I'm Switzerland. That's my role.
What's your phone screen right now?
Ryan Nelson.
Oh, you switched that one on the fly.
No, I did not.
That's his second phone.
2 phones.
That's his second phone.
I do want to stick up for myself a little bit here in that the only reason I had the Stallions at 4 was because I didn't know what the quarterback situation was. And like
Completely fair.
with Matt Corral hurt, I was like, okay, are we gonna have an injured Matt Corral? Or are we gonna have like Case Cookus on a short week? Like, and I think all those 4 teams are pretty.
The
similar.
revenge game, Memphis baby.
So
That'd be a crazy revenge game, right?
Yeah, no, I would have loved that. But like that's why they were 4. And you know, had I known when you said that immediately, I was like, oh man, I can't defend Stallions at 4 anymore. That's tough. I just didn't have the knowledge.
Cool. My thing with you would be though is like why not Arlington, DC, Michigan, Birmingham? That's my only Birmingham aside, like Birmingham out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is just a fan. This isn't the player speaking. This is just a football fan. I'm just thinking I think Arlington has the best resume. That's me personally. That was my prediction.
The only thing
that's who I think wins the XFL. I think Arlington wins that side.
Oh, you got James Baker jumping up and down right now.
No, I'm just calling it what it is. Like I think defensively they got a good scheme, but I think offense you can't. I don't care. Arlington should score 9 points in a game, and if we play them again, I'm gonna anticipate. Well, not our defense, but I would they could go for 30 any day. As soon as stuff hits, that's why they're too talented in the skill position, in my opinion. And I think at the end of the day, come crunch time, come playoffs, when time really matters, you want the guy with the most experience at quarterback. And I think Luis is, like I said, I would trust him in that moment. Besides us, this is if we didn't play them. But that's how I would look at it.
I think for Arlington, this week's going to be a really big test for them with DC, with especially the pass rush. Because a lot of why I'm been kind of on Arlington has been, okay, do I trust that offensive line to hold up against? I mean, we saw it with, when you guys played them, Luis Perez was fighting for his life out there, and that's just not a successful way to win. And the reality is that when you're going on a run here, you're going to have to face the best pass rushes. You're not going to get an easy out in the playoffs, especially with, pretty much half the league, if not more, has a good pass rush. So that's really the thing that, I still think they're a good team. I think all 4 of those, I'm totally fine with whatever ranking you have. It's kind of I was saying it earlier, Ryan coming in kind of cut me off, but I think it's flavors of what do you value in a team is much more of what you're going to rank those for than necessarily one team definitely being above the other ones. And with Arlington, it's okay, that defense looks really good. I'm okay, the offensive line is been shaky at times, but I'm accepting that. Every team has some flaw like that. I don't think it's last year at this point Birmingham was going on their tear. You guys probably had just beaten Memphis 40, whatever that game was. Yeah. And it was okay, unanimous number 1. I don't think there's a team right now that's been head and shoulders above everyone else. Everyone has something that is got to get fixed in the second half of the season. So that for me, I'm less comfortable. The teams that Michigan, the offensive line looks incredible right now. That is a huge thing of where the differentiation is, between them. And I get they haven't beaten, they've been playing teams down the board, but you have to play who you have to play, and they've looked head and shoulders above all of those teams. So, I think, and obviously I think San Antonio is legit too. So I think that's a legitimate win, even though they're 0-3. So.
I have to run real quick, guys. I'm so sorry. I have something come up.
You're good. It was David in the chat.
Everything's all good though. No worries. But I will be back. I'll be back next Monday.
Sounds good, Jace. We appreciate you. Good luck this weekend.
Take it easy, brother.
Are we live still?
Yeah.
Heather texted him. Get off of there right now.
He's literally still on.
Here, I'll kick him for him. How the hell do I kick him now? There we go. Get out of here. Oh, wait. Why won't he?
He's not allowed to leave. He's stuck here.
Dynasty is over.
Oh, well. Well, we'll just move him down to the bottom corner. There we go. Oh, there you go. I just had to move
That was
him.
a fun show.
Yeah. No, this is real fun. Good week. I told everybody it was going to be a good week, a big week, a fun week. And then next week, but you know what's crazy, guys? The next time that we're all here for this show, next Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Again, a reason to subscribe. Click the bell. It builds morale. Let you know when we go live. We're at the halfway point of the flipping season. Next episode is the halfway point of the season. Kind of crazy. I was thinking about that last night of like, how the hell are we approaching the halfway point? And here's the good news. This is really when Houston's going to hit their stride.
This guy.
Did you see that game last week? We went toe-to-toe with the champions. We came away with just a 7-point difference from winning that game. 8, if you want to be technical about it. 8. And, you know, one thing we talked about a little bit. We'll wrap up here soon. Not the week to be the quarterback. Not the week to be the quarterback in the UFL. We saw Matt Corral go out. We saw Manny Wilkins go out. We saw my man Nolan Henderson go out, who is just named the starter. Now, I was out in the crowd, and people, the chatter started. They said, oh, no, does that mean Anthony Brown's coming in? No, it didn't, because he was labeled the third-string quarterback. We got our first view of Jalen McClendon, which I think there were some people in the crowd that you never want to see an injury, but seeing him throw the ball, launch the ball, get the chains moving, it's a little bit of what you want to see out there. I'll tell you this, I'm not sold on the Brahmas yet. And, you know, I haven't made my pick yet, so I'm still debating it. But I'm not sold on them. And honestly, I think the Roughnecks could get that win against the Brahmas next week. The Brahmas, yeah, I think they had a little bit of that momentum coming off of that tight loss against Michigan. You had a little bit of a boost with Jack Party coming in. I mean, he's doing a hell of a job as the head coach. Now, Peyton Party. As I said, I'm like, that's the wrong name. Anyway, this week, I think this week's going to be different. I think this is the revenge of the Roughnecks. And we are going to get that win. I might even drive out to San Antonio to see the game live. So they better not flip and disappoint me.
Put David's chat up on the screen.
This one?
Hell yeah. that's Jace's guy. He's
Oh,
super.
hell yeah.
He Batista bombed him when he was younger.
Oh, hell yeah. Sign him up. You should do it now. I want it on tape.
Jace is on IR. Reason why. Batista bombed.
So any final...
Memphis is gonna get a hold of that trident that Ducky made, and someone's gonna freaking stab him.
Dude, they're not gonna get it at this point. God is against me on that. I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, you
didn't
weren't
happen?
able to get it to him?
I was gonna ask about that.
Should
I think
have
I'm gonna
launched it on
try
the
and
field.
when I go to Houston, not next weekend after, I'm gonna try to get it to him early. Like maybe when they go to, well, they probably won't go to a hotel. They'll probably drive down the game day of.
Maybe what we'll do is we'll just drive up and down the freeway. We'll take the
Throw it through the
wait
window.
for the bus to come by and just open it up for you. You know, hope your aim's good. Get their best. Yeah. Anyway, any final thoughts from anyone before we head into the week here?
I will say when it comes to Houston, you know, that game, just to comment on it, I think if your argument's like, okay, what is the route to win? It's gotta be the defense. They've gotta be shut down. Like that is your window. I like Jalen McClendon, but I think like in that game you saw a little bit of what his deal is. It's what his deal was at with Vegas, where he has all the talent in the world, but it just feels like it never quite connects. You know, where like, you know, final drive can't make, you know, throws a bad interception, you know, drives stalling out pretty consistently, and then he'll have those splash plays that'll, you know, excite you and get, you know, as a fan base it's like, oh my god, he's so great. And so like I think certainly he's better than what you've had at that quarterback position, but I think for you your game plan has to be like, hey, San Antonio can't score 20 points. If they score 20 points, I don't think you're going to win. You've got to keep it low scoring, that kind of 10 to 14 point range. And then, when you're in the muck, maybe, they get a few big explosive plays and that's your avenue for winning. I don't love that odds. Spoiler, I'm going to pick San Antonio, but that I think is your avenue because I just don't see how that offense can keep up if it's a shootout.
Well, it's going to be, I'll tell you this. The good news is, as Andrew mentioned in the chat here, he says, hopefully San Antonio will score more points than last year's championship game. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're going to score less somehow, some way. They're going to score less than 0 points this Sunday.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
Can you do that? Give up safeties?
No. Yeah, that's probably how I would find a way to get around that rule. So let's do it. Let's do it, San Antonio. Do it for me. Do it for the ref.
No, knowing Houston, they'd probably go by golf rules, and the lowest score wins that game.
Hey,
I feel like there should be a
good
rule.
idea.
I feel like there should be a rule where you can lose a point.
Yeah, I like that. We need to get on. Yeah, we're gonna get on the horn with these UFL guys. We're gonna bring that innovation to spring football. Be like, everybody's talking about getting points. Have you ever thought about losing points? Here's one. Anyway, I'm gonna go off the rails here, so I'm gonna stop. I think that's about it for us, folks. So I'm gonna go run down the drill. You know what to do. Subscribe, click the bell. It builds morale. Let you know when we go live. Just like Monday night, just like now, every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern for Around the UFL. We're also going to be doing something interesting for summer stock this year. It's going to be like road rules, maybe. I don't know. We're going to get there. I got some plans in play, but Zachy Boy and I are doing a big road trip from Texas to St. Louis for the championship game. And so we're going to be pumping out some content during that road trip as well. So another reason to stay subscribed. Might not be live, but you'll get the notification as well. Follow us over on social media at Around the UFL, at PF Newsroom, at UFL Newsroom, at all of our ats. You know where to find us. Links are down in the description. Discord, do the Discord thing. Like the video, it's free. Yeah, I think that's it. It. So, points. Yes. Good thought. Let me pull up the points. Well, where are my damn points? Why isn't my points? Where are my points at? Oh, I'm in the wrong account. Let me not do that here. If I did that here, we'd probably get kicked off. I would have switched accounts and we might have got booed off YouTube. So bear with me here. Points. Okay, let's go down the list here. James, I'm going to start with you. Man. Driving all over the place, pooping his pants. His oil can. I mean, that's got to be worth at least 16 points. I don't know. Well, that brings you up to 135. Oh man, Ducky, I just feel bad for you at this point. You got this damn trident. You're trying to get it to the team. And I'm telling you, I think that might be the winning ingredient. Once they get this trident, that's going to empower them to get the turnovers, to use the trident. All I need you to do is wait, don't get it to them in Houston. Or if you do, get it to them after the game. Oh, look at this guy.
Oh, he's here at the end. He wants points.
It's
He's
good.
like, he heard points. He's like, I want them.
What the hell?
I'm back. Sorry if I'm not welcome, I'll leave. But I felt bad for leaving. I wanted to finish because, my son's mother. Yeah, chill out. my son's mother was calling, and I didn't want it to be an emergency. I was like, if something's going on with my son and I didn't answer because I'm doing a panel, I was like, she will kill me.
Yeah, fair enough. Family always comes first.
Because it wasn't a face. She FaceTimes me, and it's like so I can see him, when we can talk. But it was a normal call, so I'm like, I'm in trouble. Like, what did I do? What did I say? She didn't agree with my rankings or something.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Jace. I'm going to leave this one up to you. So we're doing points right now, but right now. Okay. Your points on the season, you have 420.69 points. Do you want to muddle with that, or are you fine? Because I mean, that's a fine number. One, I don't think anyone's catching up, but two, it's just a funny number. Do you want more points?
What are these points for again?
I'll let you know.
Nothing.
How are you on this show? You don't know what these points are for. These are the most important points that you're ever going to have in your life, Jace. You think
Is it just morale? Is it just vibes?
Is vibes. These is around the UFL points, buddy. All right. These are the only things that matter in life. When I wake up in the morning, you know what I check? I check my points, and I'm like, fuck, I'm not number one. That's all that matters.
Wait,
now.
okay. Something, I'm getting one of those like unfogging of the brain. Was it something I did in the USF that I did last year? Something that got me like a buttload of points all at once?
No, they reset this year. So you have 420.69 this year.
Well, fill me in. What did I do to get so many points?
I don't know. I think you were just funny.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I gave him 420.69.
Yeah, that might have been what it was.
I think it was.
We have very loose rules on this show, so Ducky said it, and I was like, yeah, that's funny. And so now you have a funny number for your points.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Well, Ducky's probably the most, I like what Ducky has to say, so. Also, so Ducky, he put us number one. He put us number one on his rankings, so no bulletin board for me.
So, Ducky, should I mess with these points, or should we keep it at funny number? Keep it at funny number.
Or we could, wait, we were talking about taking away points? Take some away.
Take 0.69 away?
0.69 away for the fumble last week.
There you go. So now you just have 420 points. You
now
have to earn back that 0.69.
Now you got to do a crazy touchdown celebration to get your 0.69 back. I don't know what that's going to be. It's all up to you.
Just middle finger, James Larson.
I've been so attacked today.
Just get a fine for it. Just get fined by the league.
Go to the camera. Fuck you, James Larson.
Yeah, but I'm not. All my money goes to this channel. It doesn't go to the fine money. Just goes to
Let's go.
Do you guys ever think about touchdown celebrations? Is that ever planned out?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think of celebrations throughout the week. Not throughout the week, but when I see stuff. Unfortunately, we didn't beat DC. I had a bunch of them lined up just based on some of the content they had previously put out. So I was just do some simple trolling, but I've always never really thought of nothing crazy. What Russell Westbrook, and don't say anything bad about him because I'm from Oklahoma and I watched prime Russell Westbrook. I copied him in college. I did the baby celebration, just because out of respect, but I don't really put a lot of thought into celebrations. I usually black out when I score or when something happens, and I get secondhand embarrassment watching myself on film. That's a fun fact about me. I really do get I get embarrassed watching myself. It's cringe sometimes.
Well, this show is going to fix all of that. This is the show that changes all of that for you. Because once you're on a show with us, then you can watch us and be like, I'm not that cringe. So, and you're leading on points.
It's more so embarrassing because I'm just like, oh my God, why am I yelling? Why is my face so red? Why am I doing this? He didn't even touch you. Why are you mad at him? Stuff like that.
Let's see, who else do we have? Jake and Thorn. I think I'm going to start with you, Thorn. You know what? I'm going to give, because you fixed your audio this week, that's actually worth a couple extra points. We're going to give you 11 points. That brings you up to 80. So you're still in the hunt here. Jake, man, you got to stop grilling. I mean, you are 38 points, man. You're up against Jace with 420 points. Nick was just at 69. I mean, we got to do something here. So you did not grill this week, so that at least deserves 2 extra points. You had some solid questions.
I beg to differ. He
Jace,
had the
how many
most.
points?
He had at least. What's he at right now? 30. There's no way he was the most. As someone, you need to give him. I'm just kind of stealing this. This is around the part in the. Is it around the horn? Yeah. He deserves more just because, one, he's a Michigan fan. He stated that from day one. He's been consistent. He's not negative. He's realistic and logical. And as a fan, not being unbiased, I think the points that he made today and why they're at 4 and this and that, I think you have to respect that as a person who, from speaking on their fan base, it could have been he could have him at number 1, like James. And that, then
counterpoint.
you're Yeah, I'm like, you're a homer. So to me, I think he at least deserves to be in the hundreds.
Oh, I don't know if I can give him that much of a bump.
Okay, not plural. For sure above 72.
Man, you want me to give this dude 30 plus points?
I don't know, because like he started out, he's first of all, he's a Michigan fan, and right there, I would have taken away points.
I think I would. I'm so confident in Jake his logic. I would even surrender 20 points of myself.
Whoa.
I don't even know that's a thing, but I would. I think he deserves them.
I'm going to let you do that. So you know what? I'm going to give Jake 40 points, 20 from your stack. That brings you up to 78, which is more points than me. So we got to fix that right now. Okay. So, hey, I hosted this week. I took a tough loss when I thought that was a guaranteed win. Thanks a lot, Jace. I'm going to give myself, I'm not going to go too crazy. I'm just going to go 10 points. 10 points. That brings me up to 85.
Wait, how many did I get?
Oh, Ducky. Yeah, I got to get you in this because there's still a bet on the season. So, Jace, if you didn't know this, there's 69 points on the line if we can get 2 games over $1 million on Friday night. Ducky has the two games on Friday night are going to hit $1 million. James, you're only 10 points away, so you know what? I'm giving you 10 points. You're tied, 135 each.
Yeah, whoa.
Still my guy, James.
11.
You know what? Fuck it.
Because I don't think, like, now that I'm like realizing, I don't think we're getting that. Unless Memphis, Birmingham
goes so overtime. Holy crap!
Wait, what if one game goes 2 million?
I'll count it.
Okay,
that'll work.
If one Friday night game goes 2 million,
2 million.
Yep.
Okay.
James, do you accept those?
Sure. The championship hasn't gotten 2 million.
Wow.
Oh, that one Memphis game got peak viewer. 2 million.
Yeah, we're about
to
get...
had like the big whatever that Kentucky thing was lead in.
Derby, yeah.
That Kentucky thing.
I remember I kept telling XFL fans, I'm like, we had 2 million. What did you guys have?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. They got to see Panthers.
Showboats crushed the Panthers.
Yeah, they dropped a deuce in Ford Field. That year was rough at home. 1-4 in 23. That was something.
Yeah. Well, we need to get those days back so the Roughnecks can start winning. That's all I'm saying. I think that's it, though, guys. I think that's it. I think we finally talked about anything. Ducky, which team sucks this week? We'll just get it out of the way.
Oh, man, I don't even know.
Not DC.
You know what?
You know what?
Yeah.
DC sucks.
DC sucks.